not what I had surmised as of last night.
I just have the biggest grin on my face.
It saved us all from getting... It saved you from being dead, and it saved us all from being framed for murder. So yes, I would say that despite the difficulties that your appearance has brought us, in the end, it has made our lives easier.
I walk up to the bar and say, Len, tell me everything you know about a creepy black hooded figure that would run at lightning speed and carry a broadsword.
Broadsword? Now, that's an interesting one. Was he wearing anything that designated him as a rat?
Yeah, he had a red band on his... I look away from arguing with Galen. He had a red band on his arm with a rat head.
Ah, okay. So what
We'll
you
go
found... So you found, it seems like, one of the rodent boys.
Rodent boys?
Yeah, the rodent boys. Personal order of security as held by the rats and overseen by one of their overzealous lieutenants, Vaughn.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great news to hear right now.
So they're below the lieutenants.
You could say that the rodents are meant to be more of the security watchmen. They operate under Vaughn. They basically are at his command.
What if it was on?
I nod and say, so there's a chance the figure following us was not, in fact, the one that you saw the other night, but one of his henchmen?
He kind of goes on, figure? Len kind of asks about this because he's not sure about it.
The dude in a cloak, Len, keep up.
Dude in the cloak? What?
Dude in a cloak. He followed me out. He happened to catch me as I was running out from Chandra's the other night after their meeting. Speaking of
I
dudes
haven't heard of a dude in a cloak.
Not even one that might have a interesting dagger, say, reappears in his hand at will. At this point, I'm kind of sitting over here at the bar, giving up on
You kind of see him kind of scoff that off, saying, a magic dagger that appears in his hand. Now, I've heard of those, but a man in a black cloak wielding that, please. Nobody believes in the Frighteners. That's the stuff of urban legends. They don't exist.
God damn it, get me a beer and tell me everything you know, right now.
At this point, I dart out and I say, I'll be right back, and head to that. Remember, I don't remember, Tony, do you remember the bookshop?
Yes.
Okay, that's where I'm headed.
Okay.
What do you know about the Frighteners, Len?
As she runs out, I just yell, "Don't die! You still owe me money."
I'm not going to dart out quite yet. I just make a mental note that I need that, because I don't...
Alright.
Sorry.
Okay. So, you ask him to tell you what he knows about the Frighteners.
Yes, what have you heard?
He says the Frighteners, they're an old urban legend around here. Rumor has it that if you catch the attention of more than, say, two of them, that, it's said you show up dead.
Well, surely a group of 5 of us would be able to take 2 or maybe 3 Frighteners, right? I ask, kind of like with voice shaking a little bit, but trying to hide it.
I stop before Len has a chance to answer. I go, he has a dagger that disappears and reappears in his hand and could probably kill you in an instant. What do you think, genius?
He says a dagger that reappears in an instant. Now that's a new one. That's the only part of the myth that's rooted in any truth. There are indeed weapons that can do that. They're just not very commonly made, or well made usually for that instance.
If this is true, then you might know like who makes them and where we could talk to somebody that might sell them.
Well, I'm not entirely sure where they could be made, but let's just put it this way. They're quite the exotic import. They would come from somewhere quite a ways away, and I'm not entirely sure where to even begin to try to track down that mat.
Maybe we should talk to the blacksmith.
I don't know how much more information he can give us. What do you, Len, while I have you, what do you know about Cortez, one of the other Rats lieutenants?
Ah, Cortessa.
Cortessa.
Well, here's the trick with her. She's really the only good one of the bunch, you could say. She doesn't act out of malice. She doesn't act out of spite. Rather, she acts on the will of her god, and it just so happens that in a weird, roundabout, twisted way, the will of her god is kind of what the rats are into. Proving yourself through strength and combat.
I nod and say, so we're not taking that one down easily at all.
I want to do a religious check to see what I know about that god.
You don't need to do a religious
Okay.
check on that one. That one, you instantly know from what she's talking about. You know that she is a follower of a disciple of Pelor.
Paler? Yeah, okay. Okay.
At this point, I
Oh, I'm sorry, not
I lo-
Pelor. I'm sorry, it's Cord.
Oh, okay.
Hang on, is it Cord?
Paler's good.
Yeah. Pelor is good. Yeah.
Cord's on a line.
But Cord is on. It's Cord though, because I got Cord and Pelor mixed up because Cord's thing is the Storm God and the Lord of Battle.
Yeah.
So like, you can basically tell from that.
That they're
because of that,
mercenaries,
like,
basically.
She's more mercenary, but because of the fact that she has to rely on a religious deity to pull her powers, it's quite possible she may be able to be convinced to join the other side, perhaps more readily than the others will. But keep in mind, you don't know how many lieutenants there are, and you only know of two of them now. You know of Cortessa, and you know of Vaughn. Vaughn you know very little of. Cortessa's the one you have the most knowledge about so far.
It does sound like the only way to gain the respect of any of these rats will be to fight them at some point,
Agreed.
because that's what they know.
yeah, I'm going to do some research. I'll find more about the frightenings. I'm not worried about the rats. It's the dark cloaks that I'm worried about. I'll be back. I need to run an errand. At this point, I go and run to the bookshop.
Okay, so at this point you're heading to the bookstore? Okay.
Yeah.
Don't die!
So at this point, Galen kind of notes, he says, man, who would have thought that of all things, that the Frighteners were real? That was just some tale they told us as little kids to not go out at night.
It's unfortunate when tales turn out to be truth.
He says, well, we're not entirely sure if it's truth yet.
No,
But
we're,
I can
we're sure
tell
of our
you-
Cord members hiding out, wanting to kill us.
He says, what I can tell you, though, is that based on what I can recall from the old stories of the Frighteners, is that that guy, that broadsword slinging, mad sprinting crazy guy, okay, that's not what the Frighteners look like. Or if it is, then the myths were a lie altogether.
What do the myths say about the Frighteners' appearance?
The myths say that the Frighteners' appearance is very... It doesn't change among their general appearance from person to person. But what it does say, sheathed in a cloak as black as night, with only their weapons gleaming bright. So you never saw anything of them physically. You never know what their figure was. You never saw their face. The only thing you could see on them was their weapons. And they made them very, very, very apparent. That was what they told us the Frighteners looked like. Basically, that if you saw one of their weapons, as a kid, they always told us it was too late.
I smile and say, oh good, then we have nothing to worry about.
He says, yeah, it's possible. But again, like I said, I don't think that guy was a Frightener. It sounds like he was a rodent. one of the guard's securities. And you said and he asks Len, he worked for, you said someone by the name of Vaughn, right? Len kind of nods his head.
Tell me more about Vaughn, Len.
He says, Vaughn. Well. Vaughn is known as the guard major of the rats. He's in charge of the rodents. Big guy. Very, very big dragonborn. And he's also very, very, very mean, too. He's got quite the temper.
And he's a follower of Cord, we've established.
Not necessarily.
Okay. Oh, this is easy then, guys. All we have to do is take him out in front of everybody and we become their new leader. Done.
Len kind of smiles that line of thinking, and it's like, it would be an interesting show of force to take him out, but I highly doubt you're going to find him alone.
I nod and say, yeah, you always know what to say to make me feel better, Len.
Cowards always travel in
says-
packs.
He says, now I didn't say he ever traveled in a pack. It's just that more often than not, it's like a rat's nest. It just doesn't end before you get to see him. And if you do get to see him, it's because he's taken a very personal interest in you.
I nod and start thinking about what we could do. Thinking about where the rat nest might be or who might be able to point us in a direction.
Oh, well, we got some information that could point us to the rat nest, actually. The other bar has a secret passage underneath.
Where does it go?
It could get us there. Apparently
It
to
was
a rat's
small
hideout,
rat
or at least an old one.
a small headquarters for them from when they were bootlegging alcohol.
Interesting. Do you know if it's still used?
No,
least
they
not
don't
the-
operate through there anymore.
Not the section of the passage from the bar, anyway.
Did you
At
check
the
it
end,
out at
who
all?
knows? Not without backup,
Understandable.
though I definitely think we should.
I
Yeah, no,
completely
I
agree.
didn't want to go down there without the full party.
I look out the door. Conveniently, Tia left.
So,
Well-
Tia, have you got the book, and are you on the way back?
Yeah, I assume so. I didn't know if you wanted to do anything special there.
Yeah, let's go ahead and say that as Torbot kind of looks out the door, he sees you kind of on your way back with a couple of books in your hand.
Okay, does it matter how much gold it cost me?
No.
Okay.
Hey, Tia, we got some interesting information while you were gone. Apparently these guys know a place where the rats were operating and decided to only tell us now.
Fucking idiots! Alright, I have
Look.
the...
You guys
Waiting
were
for
a good
yelling about us
segue.
almost dying.
You
Come
know,
on.
guys, listen to me. I have books on the frightening. I need to study these. It's too late to do anything now. We can't do anything tonight. I assume it's like, what time is it at
What
this
time
point?
is it, yeah?
It's probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but at this point, given the fact that you guys saw a rodent over in the Byrus District, at this point, it's probably safe to say that the rats are probably a little bit more on the prowl, especially considering that one of them is a little bit alert after having seen you now for the second time in less than a day.
Agreed.
Guys, we can't go back there tonight anyway. So here's the plan. I have books. I don't know how many of you are educated or how many of you can read, but guess what? I got books and we're going to be learning all about the frightenings tonight. Because to be honest with you, the rats are the rats. The frightenings are the real priority. Because if they are real and they are a thing, I've seen one of their weapons. We don't have much longer, and we need knowledge is key here. So yes. I don't know how I was gonna finish that.
I don't necessarily disagree. However, while you were gone, we also got some good news. Apparently what chased us may not have been a frightener, but rather a rodent. So, what we were being chased by seems to be mortal, at least. But I don't know what the hell you saw at that meeting.
Well, what I saw at that meeting, from what I've heard, is no doubt a frightener. But I want to read these books and I want to check and I want to learn everything about them. Rodents don't scare me. Rodents are mortal. Mortals can be taken down with a swift sword.
I don't
Frighteners?
necessarily
Frighteners
think
are
we need to go talk to anybody else. It seems like we have an idea of where the rats have been working out of at some point, if not currently. We can check that out later on. I think we should probably just maybe sit, eat, read. So get ready for the
Drink.
next day.
I agree. I hate to
So
agree with
Galen chips in, and he does indeed say, well, just to put your mind at ease, that crazy dude with the broad axe that was chasing us before, that was the dude who saw us before. And like I was telling them earlier, there's very little doubt in my mind that wasn't a frightener. Just because of what the
If it was
myths
a frightener,
indeed
we'd already
said.
be dead. I agree.
Yeah.
If it was
Being
a
that
frightener,
close
we'd
to a
already be dead.
frightener, I wouldn't be talking to you right now, and frankly, I wouldn't be talking either.
No. Len, toss me up some meat and a glass of wine. It's gonna be toss me up some meat and a glass of cup of coffee. It's gonna be we got a long night ahead of us.
He kind of nods his head and he says, aren't you planning on pursuing any of the leads over here in the Atchfix district?
I say yes, and I
Or the
start
Atchpin.
walking towards the door. I want to go talk to Rain.
He's not wrong, but you're not going alone. I follow. I say, hold that. I'll catch it tonight, and I follow him.
Okay, so you two decide to go out there. What do the other 4 party members choose to do? Remember that
We
when
still
you
need
guys...
cupcakes.
I was about to say, when you did say you guys were splitting off into your groups in your different places you wanted to talk to, you did have Rain that you wanted to go talk to. You wanted to go talk to Marcus at the bakery, and then you also had the guy over at Ironheart's, Gene.
More
So guys,
information.
you have 3 more places you can talk to from here that you guys nailed down.
The thing
is
is that at some point. Go ahead.
Is the bakery or the blacksmith closer?
The bakery is next door to you guys, and it's directly next door to the Wyvern's Tail. Rain's is across the way from it, but next door, going the other direction, kind of. Let me pull you guys on the Sevanti, and I'll kind of show you what you guys are looking at in terms of where everybody is.
Sure.
Because they're all kind of within a decent little span of each other. So here's Wyvern's Tail right here. You just came out of here. If you want to go to Marcus's Bakery, it's right here. If you want to go speak to Rain, Rain is over here. And if you're going to Ironheart's and speaking with Jean, that's just going to be over here. So they're all in relatively close proximity to each other, but also keeping in mind that you did have a meeting arranged with a couple of people, potentially.
Yes.
I pull Rain over with us because I don't trust the other 3 to keep watch over him. And I
Okay,
assume
you
they're-
pull over Galen.
Galen, sorry, I don't know why I called him
Okay.
Rain.
So
Getting
then the
late.
other 3 of you, where do you guys choose to go? You may stay at the tavern if you wish.
Bakery,
I'm
I
gonna-
say.
I'm gonna go to the bakery.
Bakery.
You guys have-
Okay, let's go ahead and have one representative from each group roll a d20 to see who gets first crack.
I'll
Paul.
roll.
Okay.
Okay. Root rolls a 19, so we're going to the bakery first.
Okay.
Yes.
Way to go, Root.
So you guys are heading into Beckett's. That's the name of the bakery, by the way. And while you're inside, you see Homer. They recognize you because you were here a few days ago. And Root and Torvok, it's just your first time in here.
I thought I was here
And
last
so, like
time
I said,
too.
were you? Because I thought it was just Homer and
No.
Baron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. It was only us.
Okay.
It was just Homer and Baron, and that's when they actually ran into Rikus.
Okay. Oh yeah, because I
So-
was sleeping with the dude's wife, or trying to.
Yes. So you guys show up at Marcus's at Beckett's. Marcus and Jess are here. What do you guys choose to do?
Get cupcakes and rum cake.
Okay, well the
I'm,
cupcakes are ready, but the rum cake won't be ready for another half an hour.
All right, cool.
What do they have on display?
Pastries, a lot of like bread-based products today, and by that not like sweets, but like just plain croissants and biscuits and stuff like that. So not like your donuts and your sweet stuff like that. That's kind of not what they have on display today.
So
But they
there
do
are
have the
no
cupcakes.
They do have the cupcakes.
Oh, they do have cupcakes.
Do they have
I
pink?
asked-
What color is the frosting?
Roll for color, please.
What is that?
Just give me a 1d20.
$16.
They're kind of like an orangey pink.
Close enough for me.
Okay.
Well, actually, shouldn't. Well, yeah, Homer's buying them, so.
No, you have the money. Baron gave you 5
I-
gold, remember?
I thought
You
Root
gave
had
me
the
a
money.
Root,
Oh, Root. I'm sorry.
Root has the gold. Okay.
I asked Marcus how many cupcakes I can get for 5 gold.
He says, well, all that we have, and you'll still have some gold left.
So how many cupcakes is that?
About 2 dozen.
Excellent. I will take those.
Okay.
How much do I owe you?
He says that's 2 gold, 5 silver.
If I can be out of character for a moment, I hate all of you.
Are you sure you're out of character with that?
No, I'm not. I have to take my headphones. for a
That'd be a damn impressive perception check if she can hear you guys all the way from Reigns. In character, I want to see if I can hear them from across the little town. Fail on anything but a crit there. So, okay, they start boxing up the cupcakes. And
So you guys don't have any donuts left over?
he says we have a couple, but the batch didn't turn out so great this morning.
That sounds fine by me. I'll take whatever you got left.
Says, all right, I'll give you the 3 that are left for a silver.
All right.
So, about the rats.
I scarf one down immediately and bag the other 2.
Okay. So, Torvok, you immediately approach him about the rats, and Marcus kind of rebuffs you. Well, what about them?
They must have friends.
He kind of looks at you a little peculiar, and then looks over at Homer and says, "There's
What?
something wrong with him."
Yes.
I
But,
tried it with
He's
yes.
just being dumb.
A lot.
You can almost hear that echo through the city. A lot.
Sorry. I had to chime in now.
So he kind of says, well, usually what ends up happening is they come here for bread and supplies under the guise of it being for their family. We know it's not, and we know we'll also probably never get paid back, but there's really not much we can do to resist.
You could stand
Yeah,
up for your right. Fight for your right.
What time do they show up usually?
Normally at about 4 o'clock, so not long before closing, honestly. That's why we give them most of what we have anyways. It's day-old bread, and we don't really want to cause a fight over that.
What time is it right
And,
now again?
It is about 1:30, which is about an hour before the meeting that Baron requested with the boss from the counting house and Drosselmeyer from the arcanery.
Gotcha. How many of them usually show up to pick up the bread?
He says at minimum 1, at maximum 6.
All right. Thanks for your help. And I give him the rest of the single gold that's left over from my change of the silver I spent on donuts.
Because someone doesn't want to have 9 silver in their
Nope.
stuff, don't they?
Simplify that inventory.
So it's going to be about another 20 minutes for the rum cake to be finished, so we're going to go ahead and duck on over to Rains, where Tia, Galen, and Baron are waiting.
Oh, hello.
Not you, not you, not you,
Oh.
but you, and you, and you.
Alright, at this point, when we're starting this, is this about an hour till the meeting we have scheduled?
Yes, this is about an hour
Okay.
until the meeting you have scheduled. So,
Cool.
Rain kind of comes down the stairs.
And as he kind of does that, I look to Baron and I go, we don't have much time for this. We have a meeting later.
I nod and say, "Good day, sir."
He says, "Ah, look who it is."
I look him
How's
up and
the
down
city
and
treating
say, "How's the leg?" I can't remember what hurt of his that we healed.
It was his shoulder.
How's the shoulder doing?
And he says, it's been better, but I'm still working on trying to lift things up with it again. But I can at least ride back and forth between the cities."
Time heals all wounds, good sir. We've come to ask you about some business practices you've been dealing with.
He kind of says, "I'm going to go ahead and step out on a limb here. Probably a pretty strong one if I had to guess that Len sent you here, didn't he?"
He
You'd
did.
be right.
I just don't want it to get out that him and I are joint owners of the place and that I'm technically the one that owns the business.
It never
Your
has
secret's
to.
safe with us.
However, it's going to end up real bad for all of us if we don't get some information. Do you know anything about the rodents?
He kind of says, the rodents. That's a name that actually sounds pretty familiar. That sounds like if I'm not mistaken, that's the Guardian Corps of the rats. I think it's overseen by one of their leaders,
Vaughn?
but not their
Oh,
head
good
honcho.
one.
He says, it sounds about right. I wouldn't put it past the other 2 lieutenants to lead a group of people as so mean and vicious as they are.
Have you had any run-ins?
He says, believe it or not, that group of people that took me out and that you went and took care of, that was actually a group of low-level rodent recruits. Those were people that were actually trying... That was their entry-level test to become a full-fledged rodent. Needless to say, you ensured that they failed. He kind of smiles.
You just mentioned something about the lieutenants. We know about
Cortessa.
Cortessa. Sorry, I have the names written down. We know about Cortessa. Do you have a name for the other lieutenant?
He says, which one? There's 2 others.
You said there were 3 rats lieutenants. That was...
Yeah, Cortessa and Vaughn, we've
Which
already
one?
brought up.
So you say that to them, so you know a little bit about Cortez and you know a little about Vaughn.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
But
gives
who's
you a
the
little bit
front-
more. Go ahead.
But we want to know about the other lieutenant. Maybe a name, what he does for them.
He says, I'm trying to think. I don't have too much of running with him. In fact, very few people do. He's not very well known, doesn't make himself very well appeared, but that's primarily because he has the ability to make himself very difficult to find.
Interesting.
That's a no on the name, then.
He says, I've only heard of the name, but again, he's one of those ones, he's a sneaky one. He's actually a gnome by the name of Finn.
Finn.
No, you said.
Yes.
You see many
doesn't
gnomes
know.
around here, Rain?
He says, well, I know that there's one that works in the arcanery, Drosselmeyer, I think his name is. And that's honestly where they're more common to be known to be found, is in areas with a bit more magical aptitude.
I whisper
Which
to...
at least lines up with the rumors I've heard of Finn, because they do say that Finn is a wizard.
I whisper to Cortessa, that's who to Tia, that's who Cortessa was buying the artifact for.
And that's who might show up to our meeting tonight.
So the rodents are basically the killers then, Rain, yes? Of the group.
He says, you could say that they are they're the goons of the group. They do the dirtiest work of the bunch, and they're commanded by the meanest one of them all, Vaughn. Incredibly short temper, and has absolutely no problem beating somebody to death if he can't beat some sense into him.
I smile and say, well, he might have a small problem coming later. How many times, or I'm trying to word this correctly, how often do you see the rats in your daily dealings with the Wyvern's Tail?
In my daily dealings with the Wyvern's Tail, I rarely see them. They know that I have a very chilly reception with them, and ever since you managed to kill the ones that jumped me, I haven't seen them since. You rarely saw them before, but now I don't see them at all.
I want to do an
At least
insight
using
check
the
to
tail.
see how he takes me asking him about the rats, see if he's, like, maybe hiding anything at all.
Sure.
I forgot what my insight was. There it is. Okay, I believe him.
I was about to say, you don't take him as trying to hold anything back.
Mhm.
If anything, he interprets you trying to continue guardianship over him because of the fact that the rats really did get quite vicious with him,
Mm-hmm.
and he still hasn't fully recovered yet.
At this point, I say, we have a meeting to attend to soon. Thank you for your help.
I nod and
I,
say, take it easy on the shoulder, Rain. We'll be back later.
And he says, I'll do what I can. I got another courier run in another few days. Unfortunately, Silas has been actually quite ill, so I've had to take those runs a bit more.
As we walk out, I look to Baron and say, we're not going to this meeting alone. We need to get the others. I don't think we should go at all.
I nod.
I look to Galen and say, come on, let's go back to the tavern.
He kind of nods and he says, now, I have a question for you.
Okay.
You've given the information out to two people, one of whom seems at least trustworthy. The other one, I'm not so sure about. Do you really want to put Len in that kind of danger?
No.
I just get this feeling that the bank boss is gonna bring a couple heavies with him. I really think he's in the rat's pockets.
I agree. I have a plan. Let's get to the tavern.
Okay.
I follow.
So, we're gonna back to the bakery just for a few more minutes.
When we go
And
back
the
to the
rum cake
tavern,
is now ready.
can we go back like maybe
Yes!
20 minutes before the meeting?
Yeah, you guys are going to be
Okay.
getting back about half an hour before. Oh,
Are you,
Okay,
are
there we
you,
go.
are you good?
okay, so like I said, we're back in the bakery for a little bit. By the time that everybody meets back up at the tavern, because this is only going to be a relatively short sequence, there's going to be about a half hour before the meeting. So you're going to have a little bit of time to do some plotting and planning.
Cool.
So at this point, the rum cake is ready. He boxes it up.
How much is the rum cake?
3 gold.
It's better be the best damn rum cake in the world.
He says, "We hope that we don't disappoint. Is there anything else I can help you out with today?"
Guys, y'all got any questions?
That's what I wanted to ask.
I think we're good.
Alrighty.
Alright, I
And he
pay the man.
says, "All right." And then Jess kind of says, "Hope to see you guys again soon."
I
Oh, you
wave
will.
goodbye as I walk out the door.
Okay. Do the other two follow?
Yep.
Wonderful. We're going to go ahead and bounce it back to the tail. You guys all arrive back at the tail with about a half an hour to go before this meeting is set to come up.
Okay.
So, what does the party want to do here?
Baron, this is a bad idea.
I know. Len, you have to trust me. You have to go down into the cellar, lock it, and make sure you don't come up until you hear no more noise.
Baron,
Wait,
what are you doing?
What?
Len, trust
Baron,
me. There's
not
going to be
safe
some
here.
scary people here. You're gonna have to go in the cellar. Torvok, take Len's position, pretend to be a barkeeper.
That's a dangerous thing. But okay.
Len, listen to him. Torvok, you're not going anywhere near behind that bar.
Already
Luke, I
there.
want you behind the bar. Torvok, I want you upstairs.
Nope, I'm here.
Most importantly, who has the cupcakes?
Right here.
Okay.
It's not about the
I
I
cupcakes,
set
guys.
2 boxes.
It's a
I
life or
set 2
death
boxes of
situation.
cupcakes down on the table and slide them over to Bear.
This is a life or death situation, Baron.
I take the cupcake.
Priority.
I take the cupcakes. I place them on a thing. Does anybody have any poison?
I also have your change.
Tia, I'm not accusing you of anything, but do you have anything that could kill somebody almost instantly upon eating?
At this point, Len is looking very concerned, and he is going to ask, wait a second here. You're asking me to lock myself in the basement of my own establishment for what unknown reason, and now you're telling me you are intending to commit murder in my establishment?
Not
If
intending
anything,
to
it's
commit
manslaughter.
murder. Just making
Intending
sure
to
things
save
go
our
okay.
goddamn lives. Yours included, might I add.
Actually, okay, ignore the poison comment. Len, do you have anything that could make somebody violently ill upon ingesting?
Len he turns around and he picks up a bottle of what looks to be a rather strange colored liquid, and he holds it out, but then withdraws his hand, and he says, "Before I even proffer this to you, you're gonna tell me exactly what the hell you're planning on doing here."
Okay, so we
And
set
at
up...
this point, we're gonna